Hello, and welcome to a new podcast, Learning for Wins. My name is Craig Havens. I'm joined today and every single day with Jonathan Almanzar. In this podcast, we're going to focus on learning American football, and we're going to kind of teach you as we go. So, Jonathan, tell me something. How did you become interested in football?
I was born into it, Craig.
Born into it. Were you born like in a field during a game? Like, was the center
No, but
your
they
birth
did have a
mother?
helmet. No, but the doctor did hold a helmet, and I fell right into the football helmet, and
Oh,
I was birthed right into that.
did you have
It
a
was,
football in your
it
hand
was
at that
spooky.
time, or
No, but they handed it to me right away. Like they cut the cord, and then my dad slammed a football, and not like one of those stupid little junior size
no?
footballs,
Those are
but
stupid.
I'm
Yeah,
talking like
like a
a
real,
NFL
authentic,
pigskin,
awesome.
real football. Slammed it right against stuck. It stuck to me
Did you
a
catch it
little
with
bit.
your? So you cut it with your chest, not with your
I
hands.
was a body catcher at that point. I hadn't
So
fully grown
disappointing.
into the hand catch. So was my
Okay.
dad. My dad was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, and
I,
he even goes, "You catch with your hands, son."
good. So
So
he disciplined you right away on that.
right, like immediately, and from that day forward, I fell in love with the game. I actually thought I was related to it. Like I would hold the football at night,
Oh,
and
I see. Yeah,
no one could pull it out of my hands.
excellent. So you never fumbled.
No way.
All
Are
right,
you kidding me?
all right.
How about you?
Well, I mean, I grew up watching football with my father, and
Yeah.
then I played football for a little bit, and then I had kids of my own, and I coached football for a little bit. But yeah, I mean,
Did you ever win a game?
um, if I winning, I mean, did you mean like
Did
internally? I
did
felt like when my mom said, "Craig, you know
You were
what? You were,
champions every game.
huh?"
You
Yeah,
were a
I mean, I was
champion every game.
undefeated in that sense.
Yeah.
No, we did win some, but we didn't win as many as I would have liked ever. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
So,
it was it's fun, and the coaching I did was youth football, which was a lot of teaching football. So
yeah.
that came
I,
to
on a serious note, one of the things I love about football is how intelligent the game is,
yeah.
how much a coach can actually affect the game.
Oh yeah,
Like, I mean, I played a lot of basketball. I played soccer, a lot of soccer. I think a computer could coach a baseball game,
yep.
but like
They've talked about it.
your coach doesn't really affect basketball that much. I think they have no impact really on soccer. But football, you could take a great football coach and a poor team and beat a good team with a terrible coach.
Yeah,
And I think that is an incredible part of the sport, and what is lost when a lot of people are coming to football from some other sport, or they haven't watched a lot of it, the understanding of all the things that are going on behind the scenes, why the play
correct.
clock, why they're it's the only sport that needs a play clock, because there's so much happening in that time between when the quarterback gets the signal to them getting to the line and figuring out and deciding. There's just so much strategy that's happening. I think it's an incredible sport.
Yeah, I have to agree. There is there's intelligence that honestly, like scenarios will come up during a week that we'll have to talk about because they're things you don't think about. In the Super Bowl, at the end of the game, I don't even remember who had the ball. He was running down and he could have scored a
Eric
touchdown.
McKinnon
Yeah,
for the
in
Kansas
in
City Chiefs.
his he could have scored a Super Bowl touchdown and told his children all about the touchdown he scored in the Super Bowl. And instead he went down right before the end zone. And that was a better play
Strategically,
than
yes.
any play of making a touchdown. And it's not as great to tell your children about in 50 years, but it's a great play. And I
And
remember there's been a few players that have done that kind of thing. So there's a
that's what's
lot to
important
learn.
to me about this show, is that we are able to pass on to other people who are just starting to get into American football some of the nuances and those deeply important aspects to it that help you fall in love with the game and understand it on a greater level. Because there is a lot to it. It's not just what it looks like. It's not just 22 guys out there trying to beat each other.
Right.
It's
not just hand the ball off and throw the ball. There's so much to stick to make that stuff happen.
And there's, it's like a well-written movie that foreshadows from the first scene to the end. Football's the same way. There's things that coaches call that they know isn't going to work, or it's most likely not going to work, but they're calling it now so they can set up a play later on, much like chess.
When my kids would play, nobody wanted to be a lineman because, I mean, all I got to do is push the guy in front of me. But you don't. They have all kinds of things going on in that line.
Dance.
It is. And it's, you've got crack blocks, you've got cross blocks, you've got all kinds of stuff happening to make sure that there's an opening for a running back, or that the quarterback can stay clean of being hit. So there is a lot going on there, and it's fun to watch. Even the parts that you would think were the most meaningless part of the game have so much going on in there. So I hope we'll be able to bring some people in to talk about maybe their positions, things like that, and kind of expand the knowledge out to people who have played those individual positions as well. What's your favorite position in football?
Wide receiver.
Is it really? Why is that?
It's
Flashy.
the one I identify with most. It's the one I identify with the most.
Because you're tall. I get it.
Tall.
Yeah. I'm short.
I really enjoy. Yeah, I just enjoy. How about you?
Believe it or not, it's a cornerback. It's not the most flashy, but it can be. I was a cornerback, and I didn't want to be a cornerback. I wanted to be a receiver. Yeah.
When you're saying cornerback, you're talking about a
defensive cornerback, not quarter, but a cornerback. Right. That's the guy that covers the wide receiver.
Right.
So yeah, I wanted to be the wide receiver, but I am height challenged, which wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't speed challenged as well. I do have some coordination, and believe it or not, I was a cornerback that could catch too, so there was a positive there. But it became something that just, to me, it was you against somebody else kind of thing. So I've kind of liked that. And ironically, as a Cowboys fan, there has only been one cornerback in league history who has won the Super Bowl MVP. Do you know who that is?
Larry Brown.
Yeah, very good. I'm proud of you. What's his number?
24.
What year was it?
1990.
No. 5. Against 2.
That Buffalo.
No. That was a good guess, though.
Wait. Then it had to have been. I can't even think of another team they played in the Super Bowl.
They played that many times. Yep, Pittsburgh. Neil O'Donnell was the quarterback. Yeah. 3 picks. So, yeah. No, but, and all those positions, a lot of people, the person they look to the most is the quarterback. And you can certainly see why. Same with the running back. But some of the other positions are kind of fun to watch and see the way they do things. So we'll be able to talk about that. Hopefully, like I said, we've got some guests that can come on and talk more about each position and help everyone out in understanding. You have a unique position, too, because you a unique perspective. You learned soccer when that was all that was around for you, right? You moved to Mexico
when I was 30, I'd never played soccer, never kicked a soccer ball. I moved to Mexico when I was 32 years old, so an adult already, and that was it. that was the sport. If I was gonna have some sort of athletic life, that's what I had to do. And I remember, so all the terminology I learned from soccer, I learned in Spanish originally, which was nice. Which was interesting. But so yeah, I have a perspective of not knowing anything about a sport, not knowing positions, not knowing what is needed at each position because there's different skill levels, not knowing who players are, teams, all of that kind of stuff. I had to learn it all there, and so I think that will help in teaching and hopefully making clear American football and just all of the things that you need to know and understand to have fun. And I also think we should put together, Craig, one episode at some point that's just like a brief overview so you can show up and not sound like an idiot the first time you go to a football game.
Yeah.
Like just like these are the 10 things you need to know to not sound like an idiot.
Right.
But other than that, I think we break down position by position, some of the rules, coaching,
Absolutely.
all of the flow of the game, and then later on we can get into the history of the sport and stuff like that if people want to stick with it and get a master's degree in NFL. But yeah, I kind of think that's what we should do.
All right. So one of the things that's going to be coming soon too is a matrix to help people kind of decide what team fits their personality, that best fits them. Because I mean, there's lots of pretty colors all over the place, and I mean, but teams are really different. Like there are some teams that are flashy and pretty, and there are some teams that are just get into the gridiron, just kind of like we're going to force our way down the field. We're going to run it. We're going to. So there's different types of teams too. Some teams that focus on offense, and some teams that focus on defense. So it's although they're all teams with the same types of players, there's different kinds of teams out there. So
and it's as varied as like food. Like you could do a whole matrix just on food. You could say, do you prefer cheeseburgers or buffalo wings?
Right.
Like I mean, there's a whole list of things that you
ribs or cheesesteaks. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could
tofu or Yep. So it's a fun sport to watch. But yeah, so we'll have that available at some point here where people can kind of just jump on and answer several questions, and boom, the team that might fit them best is going to show up.
Yeah. I think we should do today, if you don't mind,
sure,
just talk a little bit about scoring. I don't know if we have enough time to jump deep into it.
Sure.
If we could just give like a little overview.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of all sports, football, well, I don't know. I think cricket has a pretty, I don't understand cricket scoring.
I don't either, and I really like watching it. I watched it a few times. I think I like more the accents that go with it.
Yeah, I don't have days to watch a match. And
yeah, that's the hard part.
And then I know rugby has a little bit of odd scoring, but the NFL has some very interesting scoring. So I think if we could spend just a little bit of time
absolutely
talking about that. So I'm sure most people know what a touchdown is, or at least they but do you actually have to touch the football down?
Well, no, you don't.
What has to happen for you to score a touchdown?
So for you to score a touchdown, there is a white line that goes right between the field and the end zone. And that is that white line right there. All that has to happen to get your touchdown is for any part of the ball to go over that line.
How far over?
Just just enough to just touch it. It doesn't have to touch it. It can be 6 feet over it. But as long as, and they have cameras in those pylons, those little orange tees that are up on the sides of it. Yep. They have cameras in those so they can see better down that line and see if the ball crosses that plane. And if it does, it doesn't even have to be that much. It can be farther or closer. Close, that much right there. You've got a touchdown. So yeah, and that gets you 6 points. So after you score the touchdown, what's your next move?
Well, by rule, you're either going to go for 1 point or 2 points. You get to decide. So I have 6 points. Do I want to have 7 or 8?
And there are actually charts, matrices that tell coaches what the best time to go for 1 or 2 is.
And correct? Why would somebody pick 1 instead of going for 2? Like if you can score 2 points, when would 1 ever be better?
Technically, it's easier. It is easier. You've got 1 point is a higher probability of getting. However, a 2 point is better than 50% chance.
Okay.
So you and I will argue that.
So the 1 point, if we can explain it quickly, it's just a kick.
Yep.
A very short kick.
Starts on the 15-yard line, and each kick you have to add 18 yards to because of the distance, the 10 yards of the end zone, and the kicker puts the ball back 8 yards to get it to have enough room to clear over the linemen who will be standing there raising their arms.
So they're just kicking it through the 2 yellow goalposts, right down the center. as high as they want, whatever.
Yep.
And that probably has like a 90%.
It's like, yeah, it's high 80s, low
accuracy
90s.
rate.
Correct.
Yeah. So like you pretty much, like if you're a coach, you're depending that 1 point is automatic. You would say we're automatically have 1 point. If a kicker misses that, it's a freak accident, and people start losing their minds saying, waterboard him or whatever they.
Right. Yeah,
whatever
I know a
they
lot of
do.
people yell at one person, anyways. So yes, I do.
So, but it's an automatic. So that's why the 1 point, a lot of times they would just choose, let's just go for 1 point, it's automatic. If you want to go for 2, though, what has to happen?
So if you're going for 2, the ball gets placed on the 2.5-yard line. And instead of kicking it, you have to run a play. You get one shot to get in the end zone. Same idea, it just has to cross that plane by just a hair. But you can run it, you can throw it, you can do it any way you want, but you have to get it into the end zone.
So you're just basically scoring another touchdown that's only
Correct.
2 points.
Yep, a 2.5-yard touchdown worth only 2 points.
And just to simplify things, a yard is basically a meter. I mean, it's
correct.
Meters,
yeah, and more or less, yes.
Meters 0.3 bit larger than point. It's like 0.3 of a meter larger than a yard, but it's basically the same size. So, okay, so they're going from 2.5. We'd say probably a little over 2 meters is what they're trying to score on there. Okay, so that's worth 2 points. And you would choose to do that one if just based on the score.
Based on the score, yeah. So if we're in the fourth quarter and we're down by maybe 16 points, if you go for 2-point conversions on your next 2 touchdowns, you can tie the game versus going 7 points and 7 points, leaving you 2 points back.
Right. Okay.
So.
And then what's another way you can score on offense?
Another way you can score on offense is a field goal. So you've got obviously the 3. You always have 3 downs to get a new set of downs. 4 downs to get a new set of downs. Pardon me. So you got 4 downs to get a new set of downs. A set of downs is 10 yards, first and 10. So you've got 4 downs to get 10 yards, in which case you get another 4 downs. If on 4th down you're close enough, but you're too far to really take that chance of getting your new set of downs, you might opt to go with a field goal. So in that case, the ball is put down. Say you're at the 24-yard line. It's 4th and 12 because you had penalties. We'll get into that later. But if it's 4th and a long distance to go, you might opt to go for the field goal. So if it's on the 20-yard line, the ball will be put back. The ball will be snapped from the 20-yard line. It'll be snapped to where the kicker's going to kick it on the 28. And he'll kick it. It has to go over the end zone because the goalpost is behind the end zone. So it'll be a 38-yard kick for 3 points.
Yeah. And so basically the offense can score 6, 2, 1, or 3. 1, 2, 3, or 6 points.
Correct.
And 1 and 2 points only show up after 6.
Correct. You can't just score 1 point. There's no way of scoring just 1 point.
So the offense has the ability to score a touchdown or a field goal.
Right.
And then after the touchdown, there's a couple more options.
Correct. Defense can score too.
Okay. So the defense can score touchdowns.
Correct. Via a fumble or an interception.
Yep. Fumble and running it back. But they also have a unique scoring ability.
And they can also get 2 points. So if they've got the other team against the other team's own end zone, so the other team has got the ball on, like, say, their own 3-yard line. The defense maybe sacks the quarterback behind that in the end zone. The defense is awarded 2 points. So they'll get 2 points. That's called a safety.
So if an offensive player is tackled in their own end zone,
correct,
holding the ball,
correct,
the defense is awarded 2 points.
Correct. That can also happen a couple other ways. If the person holding the ball runs out of bounds, again, 2 points. Correct.
Yeah. Okay, if they run out of bounds in the end zone, if there's holding, but I think the holding one we'll get into a little
correct.
more
Yep.
later. So if the defense scores 2 points, then the team that was on offense has to kick the defense the ball again, right?
Correct. Yep.
So the defense basically gets 2 points,
and they get to sit on the bench while the offense takes over again. Yeah. Correct.
And they get the ball. Okay. And then special teams, which I don't want to belabor, but they can run kicks back for touchdowns.
That is correct.
Defense can pick up fumbles and run them back for touchdowns. So the basic scoring is touchdowns, field goals,
Safeties.
safeties, and then extra point and 2-point conversion.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Those are the 5 ways of scoring in the NFL.
Yep. And I'm sure we'll get into more of those as well as
And
time goes on.
the most common would either be offensive field goal or offensive touchdown.
Correct. Yep.
And safeties, like every game, is there a safety?
No, safeties are really more rare than that. They're really, I would say in a season you've probably got about what, maybe 5 to 10 safeties. 10 is a high number even. So you probably got
For
about
the
five
team?
for the entire season for all 32
All the
teams.
teams
You're
combined.
probably looking 5 to 10 safeties, I would say. Is that a fair number?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very yes. I would say it's very, very rare. It's as rare as like a corner, like in soccer, a corner kick, scoring off of the corner kick, something
Right.
like that. It's extremely rare. It's more rare than like a bicycle kick or anything like that. It's
All right.
very rare.
So one of the things I'd also like to let people know that are listening, when you're listening to this, you may have some questions. Maybe we didn't go over something, or maybe something wasn't totally clear when we explained it. Feel free to put in the comments. We'll keep our eyes on those. Look in the put in the comments what questions you might have, and we'll try and address them as we go, if not answer directly to the comment.
Yeah. And we're going to do this about once a week, right?
Correct.
We'll start with
Yep.
about once a week.
Yep. This will come out, what, on Tuesday or Wednesday?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll start doing this initially. Will just be about scoring rules, positions, and then it'll grow into philosophy and some other things.
Correct. Eventually into the draft and free agency and what all of that stuff means. Right now we're getting ready to get into free agency, but I think maybe we'll touch some on those things as we go, but a lot of it's going to be about learning the game first. So.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Great.
Good.
Well, thank you, everyone. We'll be having these open soon. So thank you very much for watching. We'll be talking to you soon. Have a great day.